Perhaps didn't get on it, hit straight to the fielder at square leg. That's Bhuvneshwar Kumar, bit finer though. So just single to end the over. He gets his jumper off because he'll be bowling the next over. After 2, it's 10 for no loss.
Yeah, steady start by Pakistan. They certainly don't want to lose wickets, as you
Bhuvneshwar Kumar, bit finer though. So just single to end the over. He gets his jumper off because he'll be bowling the next over. After 2, it's 10 for no loss.
6.75, would be a yeah, steady start by Pakistan. They certainly don't want to lose wickets, as you
That's Bhuvneshwar Kumar, bit finer though.
In 48 overs, that's for sure.
His jumper off because he'll be bowling the next over. After 2, it's 10 for no loss.
6.75, would be a yeah, steady start by Pakistan. They certainly don't want to lose wickets, as you
That's Bhuvneshwar Kumar, bit finer though.
In 48 overs, that's for sure.
His jumper off because he'll be bowling the next over. After 2, it's 10 for no loss.
6.75, would be a yeah, steady start by Pakistan. They certainly don't want to lose wickets, as you
That's Bhuvneshwar Kumar, bit finer though.
In 48 overs, that's for sure.
His jumper off because he'll be bowling the next over. After 2, it's 10 for no loss.
6.75, would be a yeah, steady start by Pakistan. They certainly don't want to lose wickets, as you
That's Bhuvneshwar Kumar, bit finer though.
In 48 overs, that's for sure.
His jumper off because he'll be bowling the next over. After 2, it's 10 for no loss.
6.75, would be a yeah, steady start by Pakistan. They certainly don't want to lose wickets, as you
That's Bhuvneshwar Kumar, bit finer though.
In 48 overs, that's for sure.
His jumper off because he'll be bowling the next over. After 2, it's 10 for no loss.
6.75, would be a yeah, steady start by Pakistan. They certainly don't want to lose wickets, as you
That's Bhuvneshwar Kumar, bit finer though.
In 48 overs, that's for sure.
His jumper off because he'll be bowling the next over. After 2, it's 10 for no loss.
6.75,
Bhuvneshwar Kumar, bit finer though. His jumper off because he'll be bowling the next over. After 2, it's 10 for no loss. Bhuvneshwar Kumar, batsmen are able to cross over for 3. Great fielding effort there. Loud shouts, loud cheers from the crowd. Loud Indian contingent that side. So
yes, not only from the crowd, but from the players. Each and every player clapped, with the hands up in the air, and they said, "Fantastic!" For a fast bowler to throw.
they have a lot of exciting batsmen to come as well. Meanwhile, last delivery outside the off stump, shaping away. Dhoni not able to collect it cleanly. End of the over though. It's a dot delivery to finish the over. 5 from that over. It's 15 delivery outside the off stump, shaping away. And they have a bit of experience to come in. Not able to collect it cleanly. End of the over though. It's a dot delivery to finish the over. 5 from that over. It's 15 delivery outside the off stump, shaping away. And they haven't really not able to collect it cleanly. End of the over though. It's a dot delivery to finish the over. 5 from that over. It's 15 delivery outside the off stump, shaping away. And they haven't really not able to collect it cleanly. End of the over though. It's a dot delivery to finish the over. 5 from that over. It's 15 delivery outside the off stump, shaping away. And they haven't really not able to collect it cleanly. End of the over though. It's a dot delivery to finish the over. 5 from that over. It's 15 delivery outside the off stump, shaping away. And they haven't really not able to collect it cleanly. End of the over though. It's a dot delivery to finish the over. 5 from that over. It's 15 delivery outside the off stump, shaping away. And a feel of it. Beaten. We've seen that for the first time.
He was beaten for pace there because Umesh Yadav is, has warmed up now and is up to his full pace.
137 kph that last delivery. Just again, just a bit of movement, beaten for pace, beaten for movement together.
And the carry, right in Dhoni's gloves. That should give him a lot of confidence.
Yadav again to Azhar Ali, this time on the off stump, fuller delivery, pushed it straight to Virat Kohli, who is stationed at mid-off, and quite an animated captain, animated character in the field.
Virat is a busy person, as we said earlier. He loves to do things. He loves his field changes, bowling changes. He's always in the game, always talking to the wicket-keeper, who has the best view of the game, best understanding what the pitch is doing, what the bowlers are doing, what the batsman's strengths and weaknesses are. So he's there all the time, and that's why he's a very good captain.
Yadav, the slip has gone out again in that short point position. This time taken it, cut it away, in fact, to pass that fielder at backward point straight to third man. Again squarish for Azhar Ali as well. Similar feel now as was for Ahmed Shehzad, and he's moved on to 8. Shehzad on 6 now. Score 16 for no loss.
The run rate is just creeping up a little bit. Almost to 7 and over. I mean, it's early days yet. You don't have to worry about that at the moment, because the initial overs, they've got to keep the wickets in hand.
That is something that they'll have to keep an eye on. Umesh Yadav this time played a quick run between the wickets, and they're able to complete it without any problem on the middle leg, and this time just turned it again with soft hands. And we saw that time and again from the Indian openers. Pakistani openers also repeating that same trick, playing with soft hands. Is it important to play with soft hands in these conditions when the ball is moving around?
Yes, it's important to play with soft hands for a couple of reasons. Firstly, a snick doesn't carry on to the slip fielders. The ball just drops there. That's what the coaches always tell you, play with soft hands.
And we'll come back to the second reason in just a minute. It's Umesh Yadav. Oh, tried to pull it, was short of length outside the off stump. Did not get his bat onto it. Timing all off. Got a thickish edge, which almost flew to that wideish slip. Shikhar Dhawan there. On the bounce though, no damage done. Last delivery remaining, 17 for no loss. Went hard at it that time.
When we were youngsters, we used to call it a lemon cut. And I think it's more like it. You try to hit it over mid-wicket and
went into slip instead.
It went to slips, yes.
Last time in this over then, 4th over, last delivery. Umesh Yadav, short delivery, gets it on the up, connects this time. Chase there for the fielder at fine leg, but he'll not be able to cut it off. That's a boundary for Ahmed Shehzad. That's his first boundary. Moves on to 7 of 8. Something to cheer for the Pakistani fans. Azhar on 12, Shehzad on 7. It's 21 for no loss after 4 overs. Brilliant shot, that one.
Indeed, a very, very good shot. Much to the delight of the Pakistan supporters and spectators. They're going wild. I mean, they haven't had much to cheer about so far. So that one shot has really warmed their hearts up. And why not? They've come from all over the world, supporters of both the countries. And it's a brilliant atmosphere here. Let's hope the rain doesn't spoil it.
Well, every time you say that, my eye goes to that dark cloud just behind us. The Birmingham end, where Bhuvneshwar Kumar will continue his third over, continue his spell. None for 9 from the first 2. Similar feel as earlier. This time bowling to Ahmed Shehzad, beaten. Ball moving away. The batsman coming forward, getting a feel for it. But beaten truly. 139.5. Bhuvneshwar has upped his pace in the last 1 year, and it's a delight to watch him in action.
Absolutely, he's a great bowler. I mean, Mohammad Amir, his first over was terrific. He beat Rohit Sharma several times, and that's a matter of luck. You just get a little nick or you're beaten, and that makes all the difference.
Kumar once in, running again to Ahmed Shehzad. Again, short of length, this time not much movement. The batsman played with soft hands, dropped it, looked for a run, but decided against it. And I guess that is the second use. Play with soft hands, drop the ball, and if the fielders are a bit away, you can always run and change strike.
I can tell you were an opening batsman.
I like to open at the top, but let's not talk about what cricket I've played.
Listen, how you enjoyed it, and that's the main thing.
That's the main thing, yes. I think we all love cricket. That's why we all here. India, Pakistan doesn't get better than this.
Indeed.
Bhuvneshwar Kumar running in. Ahmed Shehzad facing. It's gone a bit dark here. This time fuller delivery on the off and middle. Comes forward, defends it, and pushes it back to the bowler.
Yeah, there's a very, very dark cloud right above us. And I hope there's some wind. There is some wind about, which might just blow the clouds away. Blow the nasty clouds away. But there are a few behind them as well.
And it's blowing just across the stadium, just blowing away from the stadium. But they have to cross over the ground. We can just hope that they don't bring in some rain here. Gone darker certainly this time, down the leg side. Off his pads, I guess. A bit of an appeal there from the bowler and the fielders. And goes towards square leg. Fielder there, just the one run. Leg byes given by the umpire.
Very confident appeal by Bhuvneshwar. But that's what the ball was missing, the leg stump.
And just the one run so far. 4 deliveries in this over. He's keeping it tight. Yes, replays confirmed down the leg side of his pads. As a bowler, you're always going to appeal, aren't you?
Now you're talking like a bowler.
Bhuvneshwar Kumar running into Azhar Ali. On the money, coming in on the off stump. The batsman forward in defense, pushes it back. And, well, let's just talk about the weather, shouldn't we?
Hasn't it really gone dark?
Really gone dark. And the last couple of times it's gone dark today.
Has it gone dark or the lights have gone brighter?
No, it's gone dark because look at the cloud. And like I said,
but it's moving.
And it's raining. It started to rain and the umpires are calling for the covers. The players are scurrying off. So for the third time today, the players are coming off because of rain. Score is 22 for no loss in 4.5 overs. Azhar Ali 12 not out. Ahmed Shehzad 7 not out. A sedate start for Pakistan, but now rain intermission for the third time today. Disappointment for the fans once again, Farooq.
Very disappointing indeed for one and all. I mean,
not just the fans.
This could be a fantastic game of cricket.
Fantastic,
India, Pakistan, and Pakistan chasing a total of 320 to win, which is certainly on the cards if they bat well. They have been batting very sensibly. They haven't lost a wicket yet, and the required run rate, 6.5 to 7 is no big deal, especially these days with these bats and all that. But Odin, rain is here, and unfortunately the covers are on, the umbrellas are up. Not a very good sign.
Well, the good sign is that maybe the dark clouds will clear shortly, and we will have some game. We'll have the game once again. It's 22 for no loss. Meanwhile, in 4.5 overs, we'll be back after a short break.
Virgin Radio is back with classic tracks and new music.
Start your weekday from 6 a.m. with me, Edith Bowman, at breakfast.
I'm Jamie East, here to get you through your busy morning with interesting guests, entertaining stories. We've always got room for something unexpected.
Hi, I'm Kate Lawler here every lunchtime. Make sure you save room for me at your lunch table.
Hello, I'm Matt Richardson on Virgin Radio to get you home with a smile on your face.
I'm Tim Cocker, here in the evenings when work ends and life begins.
Find Virgin Radio at virginradio.co.uk. Get the app for your smartphone or retune your DAB radio. Check getdigitalradio.com.
My Sporting Life. Defining moments from Talk Sport.
Bob Wilson. Frank McClintock, my great captain, will tell you that, Willow spoke with a different way to the rest of us. And of course that was the millstone. They looked at me and who the hell is this that they brought in? And the one thing any sportsman probably, but certainly footballers, is of all the medals that you can eventually win, and I was lucky enough to win in the end, The point is this: in a dressing room, you have to answer one question, one test, one exam. Can you play or can't you play? and there's this amateur school teacher that arrived, still having to teach, by the way. Obviously, they took one look and said, this guy, this is a joke. And of course, I played 8 games in the Arsenal first team as an amateur school teacher, and they rioted. They rioted to the point they went to the manager and said, "You can't have an amateur school teacher in goal." And although eventually it all turned out right for me, initially that was the greatest reward for me, was that people like Bobby Moore, who was born in the same year, people like Bobby Moore, Bobby Charlton, Bestie, Greavesy, I think of all those great names I played against, they actually did think I could play.
Legends of sport recall their major achievements with Danny Kelly, My Sporting Life on Talk Sport.
Have you been involved in an accident that was entirely your fault? Perhaps you've stumbled over a cat or reversed straight into your wife's new car. Why not quell the agony of self-loathing by downloading the best TalkSport app ever? Hear all your favourite TalkSport shows live or listen again from anywhere, including lawyers' waiting rooms, small claims courts. Perhaps you've stumbled over a cat or reversed straight into your wife's new car. Why not quell the agony of your favourite again from anywhere, including lawyers' waiting rooms, small claims courts? Perhaps you've stumbled over a cat or reversed straight into your wife's new car. Why not quell the agony of your favourite again from anywhere, including lawyers' waiting rooms, small claims courts? Perhaps you've stumbled over a cat or reversed straight into your wife's new car. Why not quell the agony of your phone again from anywhere, including lawyers' waiting rooms,
Comparison just for men remains easy. About 5 minutes and you're back to your natural looking hair colour. Mum, however, is only getting started. Just for men. Find it in the men's aisle.
I'm wide awake for my busy day ahead. After a great night's sleep in a comfy king-size bed.
Their city hotels are in the best locations. The short hop to my meeting is a revelation.
Great rooms,
big beds,
locations.
This place has it all.
And for such amazing value,
that's Travelogical.
For our lowest prices guaranteed, book direct at travelodge.co.uk.
OK, that's the order. You'll deliver it tomorrow then?
No.
Oh.
We'll have it to you today.
What, today?
Yeah, today.
Wow! Will it be like flown in by Falcon, dropped off by chopper, sped over by speedboat?
No, we'll just bring it in the delivery van like normal.
With free same-day delivery when you order before 9:30am, you'll be happy talking to Dulux Decorator Centre. Visit duluxdecoratorcentre.co.uk or your local store. Dulux Decorator Centre, centred on you.
This summer, Talk Sport unleashes the Lion. The only place you'll hear every game live, with full match preview, review and analysis. Get ready to scrum down under as the Lions come to Talk Sport. Live and exclusive coverage of the entire British and Irish Lions tour throughout the summer, exclusively on DAB Digital Radio, online and on 1089 and 1053am. There goes the summer. Talk Sport.
The ICC Champions Trophy 2017.
That is huge.
On Talk Sport.
Wonderful.
Good afternoon. You are listening to Talk Sport and on Cricket Radio around the world live. Well, we were having ball-by-ball commentary of India versus Pakistan in the Champions Trophy, but not for the first time. Rain has stopped play. I wouldn't say there are clouds, rather than just one giant grey cloud. Me, Gareth Batty and Steve Harmison are just trying to work out, from your angle, Gareth, it seems to be clearing up a bit to the left. I can't see that side of the commentary box, but you think it. You how many minutes are you giving this one?
I reckon after 20 years of playing, I'm pretty good at knowing what's happening with the weather. I reckon it's not too bad. It's definitely brighter over that way. It looks like the city centre in the distance as we look forward has the worst of the weather. I'm not a big betting man, but I reckon they'll be back out in half an hour.
Okay, good stuff. Well, we'll entertain you for then. There's also sport going on around the world at Roland Garros, the French Open tennis. Lisa O'Sullivan is enjoying that.
Yeah, in the women's draw, defending champion Gabine Muguruza is out. The Spaniard wasn't just playing the French star Kristina Mladenovic, but also the entire crowd on the bull ring, who spent most of the match chanting her nickname Kiki. She's the defending women's champion in the doubles, and it's her first quarter-final in the singles at Roland Garros. The crowd absolutely going crazy there. Venus Williams was 5-1 down to Timea Byczynski in the first set, but came back to win that 7-5. No such comeback in the second, though. The Swiss levelling the match with a 6-2 win there. They've just starting the third. 19-year-old Jelena Ostapenko is into the last 8 at a Grand Slam for the first time. She's put out the 2010 runner-up Stam Stosur, and she'll play Caroline Wozniacki next. And in the men's, Pablo Carreño Busta converted his 7th match point to dump out the 5th seed Milos Raonic, 8-6 in the deciding set. And that means there's another Spaniard in the firing line for Rafa Nadal, who shot down Roberto Bautista Agut 6-1, 6-2, 6-2 earlier. And Gael Monfils won through to face Stan Wawrinka after Richard Gasquet was forced to stop with an upper thigh injury in the third set. So just one more match to get, well, 2 matches to get underway. Dominic Thiem playing Zabalos of Argentina, and then it is Novak Djokovic against Ramos of Spain.
Thank you very much, Lisa, alongside me, Steve Harmison as well. Steve, you couldn't just run me through those tennis players again, could you?
I was just about to say, quite happy being at Edgbaston. I've got a little bit of an idea of the India-Pakistan pronunciations, but no chance at Roland Garros.
It's full time in
Michael called.
It's full time in Michael Carrick's testimonial. Carrick 08 Manchester United 11 against Carrick All Stars. Beaky, were the 08-11 more entertaining than Manchester United were most of this season?
That's a very good question. It was an entertaining game. It was played at charity match pace, which is what exactly it was, but nonetheless that allowed the space for some of the players who may not have the legs to play in the Premier League or at top flight these days to show some of their lovely skills, and we saw that particularly, I think, from Clarence Seedorf, who got a standing ovation when he went off the field. He's a lovely guy, Clarence Seedorf, and a top quality player. Robbie Keane showed some lovely flicks and touches as well. Dimitar Berbatov came on, and we know what he can produce with his feet. A great thing, though, the attendance here, Max, 70,027. I repeat that, 70,027 inside Old Trafford, where security was tight, but it will have produced a massive sum of money for the Michael Carrick Charity Foundation. Just to fill in the details for you, 1-1 at half-time. Mendietta's side footer equalised by Vidic's header. Then Robbie Keane put the All-Stars ahead, but a great drive by the main man, Michael Carrick. It was no fluke. The goalkeeper, Shay Given, didn't let the ball go through his legs or anything like that. It hit the inside of the post and went in and produced the draw. So it finished Manchester United 08. The 08 significance, of course, when they won the Premier League title, and also, of course, when they won the Champions League as well. The Man United 08-11-2, Michael Carrick's All-Stars 2.
Beaky, I saw a couple of clips on Twitter of Giggs nutmegging Carragher and Neville and Carragher going in together. Yeah. A few tasty challenges there.
Yeah, 1 or 2. I tell you what, you really get the idea of how competitive these players are. Yes, it was a testimonial game, and yes, it wasn't played at full pace, but you're quite right. Neville and Carragher are 2 very competitive individuals. So is Wayne Rooney, who was whinging away at the match official, Neil Swarbrick. He thought he should have got a penalty down at the Stretford end there, and he wouldn't let it go. So these sorts of individuals, they want to win matches, whatever sort of game they're playing in.
And as you say, really great cause, the Michael Carrick Foundation, and a brilliant servant to that club.
Brilliant servant to the club, yes. He came for a fee of £18 million, £18.6 million to be precise, when he joined from Spurs. Started at West Ham United, of course, and he came from Spurs to Manchester United, went on to win 17 major honours with the football club. Fantastic servant, and the sort of player who you think can go on for quite some time yet, because pace has never been his forte, but turning defence into attack and finding the right pass at the right time always has been.
Beaky, thanks for your time today. Appreciate it greatly. Great to get a capacity crowd there for Michael Carrick's testimonial. Capacity crowd here as well at Edgbaston. The umbrellas are up It's another rain delay. It does seem to be brightening up slightly. The lights are on here in Birmingham, but it's sort of clearing up. We can see further into town now. Surrey captain Gareth Batty, former England fast bowler Steve Harmison alongside me. Pakistan 22 without loss. They haven't started too badly here, have they?
No, you know, if you're going to chase something big and the pressure's on, you do need to get off to a steady start. But you need to get off. Wickets is massive. Bats will tell you as a captain, if you can get a couple of wickets in that first power play, it just slows the momentum in that middle period down. And you look at, rewind first up to what happened this morning. India were 46 for none off 9.5 when we came off for the first rain break, and they went and got on and got 319, and that was because they didn't have any wickets. They had a platform and a base to build from, and it just gives your power players at the back end freedom to survive. When we came up to give it a bit of a nudge, like we said at half time, and they went and got on. And the rain suits Pakistan because the shorter the game, the better chance Pakistan have got, because then wickets don't really come into the equation. All of a sudden being bowled out, that doesn't come into the equation. You can give yourself 2 or 3 overs to get in, and then knowing that you're not going to get bowled out as a team, you can really sort of light the blue touch paper and get going. So this will suit Pakistan, but they'll not want to leave it too late. India will be desperate to get out there because they'll not want a 1 point each match, because they've got 320 on the board.
Gareth, this is Edgbaston. It's a great cricket ground. I'm interested to know if you would like me to ask Steve Harmison to regale us with the story of perhaps one of his most famous deliveries of all time in the Ashes in 2005, or if you've heard it a million times and you don't.
That was in Brisbane.
I was going to go on to that one.
Everybody tells me it was in Brisbane.
Well, we can do that one if you want.
I can't remember either.
Because that was Gareth, do you want to hear?
Well, I've heard it 4 times already today, but do you know what? I'd love to hear it again because it's a brilliant story.
Cheers, Matt.
Everybody, unless you're too young to remember it, it was such a crucial moment in that Ashes series, which was such an amazingly iconic cricket series for England. And I remember it was the day after a wedding, and I had a stinking hangover, and we were all there in the hotel, and we just said, look, we'll just watch, it'll be over in a few overs, then we can go home.
That's what we thought as well.
And we'll be there all day.
Yeah, and it was...
If you could make it half an hour,
it was a bizarre... It was a bizarre few... what was a couple of hours nearly? It was an hour and a half they batted for. It actually just bumped into one of them in the corridor, Shane Warne. He actually had just woken up, and I wish he had been asleep that day, and that series as well, because he had a fantastic series with both bat and ball. But when we got Michael Clarke out the night before, we thought, well, 2 balls next day, this is game over. And as we're sitting here at Edgbaston, you look across the other side of the ground where the side screen is on the other side. There was a pocket of about 80 Australian fans, all in the yellow shirts, and they started singing 106 to win, 105 to win, 104 to win. Now it was funny until it got about 80 then started becoming annoying.
Well, we needed 2 then, didn't we? We needed 2 wickets.
So we needed 2 wickets, yeah. And then when it got to about 15 and Simon dropped that catch, they weren't annoying, we were frightening, to be fair. And Garrett managed to keep a hold of it. We went on and won that test match, which was great. The momentum
wasn't there, hang on, I'm slowing down the story because we have time, Steve, but did you bowl a full bunger at someone and he carved it to the one man on the cover boundary?
Yeah, that was on the cover boundary. Andrew Flintoff bowled a full bunger that hit just on down leg side, hit the footholes, and it bounced once for 4, went straight over the wicket-keeper's head. And you're thinking things aren't going to go for you. Bowled one to Brett Lee, which was a good ball, the inside edged it, went past the wicket-keeper for 4. You're thinking this is not going to happen for you. You're thinking, right, there's going to be one chance. 15 to win, ball goes down to third man. I think Simon was actually shaking that much he didn't want to bowl, and he's dropped the catch, and you're thinking, wow, this is just not our day. It's not our day. And when we managed to get to the point where the big screen says 4 to win, you're just thinking, it's one ball away from being all over. But that worked the other way as well. I remember Varney being very calm, and he wasn't very calm underneath them glasses. Freddie bowled all morning. Ash that went for Ashley Giles, so it left basically two bowlers. Simon and Hoggy were looking into the sky, and as much as I was looking into the sky and not wanting to bowl, Varney decided that me and Fred were the ones that were going to bowl. That obviously on that morning, but fair play to Brett Lee. He was magnificent that day. So was Shane Warne and Michael Kasperovich, who got a first ball duck in the innings before. Kasperovich walks out on a king pair. You're not expecting him to last for 45 minutes, are you? So, but 4 to win, I bowled a big booming full toss, and Brett Lee's hit it out towards the cover boundary, and now my heart sank because I thought that's it, it's gone. But realised there was a fielder out there, and the bounce hadn't worked all day. I was knackered, I was too tired, and every time I was bowling the bounce, it was going down leg side, and it just wasn't effective. But when you are at a point where you've got nothing else to lose, it worked for me, and it was a great catch by Geraint Jones. We managed to go on and win that Test match, win the Ashes.
His bat was off his hand was off the bat, wasn't it?
I don't care, to be honest. I really couldn't care. I don't think we talked about how dumb fast bowlers are, haven't we? So far in this the chat throughout the day, and I can't believe Michael Kasperovich would have gone to the third umpire off the back of that, and then. And then you come, but the whole thing started, the whole momentum shift started. I'll never forget, every time I come back to this ground, I always look to, and there's a guy standing right in front of the big hover cover at Edgbaston here. He's got a high-vis jacket on, the tractor's just about to knock him over. And that is one of my favourite places in all of Test cricket in England, because that's where Glenn McGrath stood on a cricket ball. And I'm sorry, I love Glenn McGrath to bits. He's one of my heroes. He's one of the nicest human beings going, fantastic player. And you hear all sportsmen say you do not want to see a fellow professional get injured. When he got injured that day, there was 10 English players and a South African jumping with joy when he did that. And that, for me, was the momentum shift to get England back into that Ashes series here.
Oh, and it was such a great moment, wasn't it? I speak to a lot of footballers and talk to Paul Merson a lot about being on tour and going to the World Cup. And he says actually found it quite sort of boring quite a lot of the time, because you're holed up in a hotel, you can't really go anywhere. And I know perhaps the attention on footballers is greater than cricketers, but did you love touring, Bats, or did you find it that way? Because you're out for a long time.
I've got to be honest, I did. Partly because I used to travel the world watching these guys play cricket and mix drinks for them, because I never got a game. It was the best. I remember a West Indies trip. I was told to go out on a night out with Mick Jagger and a couple of the 12th man. I'm kind of like, well, this has got to be the best job in the world.
Sorry
I'm
guys,
rubbish at
late
cricket, and I'm just mixing drinks for our boys, which doesn't happen in
Sorry guys, late हो गई अभी
management, and Duncan Fletcher at the time said, right, you boys aren't playing, you've got to go and have a few beverages with Mick Jagger in, I think it's 32 degrees in Trinidad and Tobago.
So who was out with Mick?
Myself, Jimmy, and I believe Paul Collingwood. Oh, it might have been Reedy, actually. It might have been Chris Reed.
Okay. That was a great trip for you, though. Off the field, it was brilliant, and then you got a game on the field, and
that's battered everywhere. I can't believe I mentioned that one. Actually, I've just teed it up.
Ashley Giles gets a bat back on the morning of a game. On the morning of that game, Andy Roberts, who was groundsman at Antigua, I've never met him before, and Sir Ian Botham standing next to him, and I walk across when you mark your run up out, stuff like that, looking at the foot holes and see where you got, and I got to meet Andy Roberts, and a great fast bowler, West Indian fast bowler, and he just said to me, he says, you will not win 4-0. And I just laughed. Another West Indian who thinks, says, what? I says, we've got the West Indian batting lineup on toast here. They've got no chance. What do you believe is going to stop us from winning 4-0? He went, I'm groundsman here and I prepared this pitch. My heart sank. I thought, oh no. And then Ashley Giles pulls out in the morning, Bats gets a game, and Brian Lara, it was the flattest pitch in the world, wasn't it, to be fair, and he smacked us everywhere.
Yeah, he nicked off first bowler, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
You nicked him off, didn't you? I was stood at point, I was going, yeah, turned round, it's not out, I'm like, oh, this is going to be bad.
Was that when Lara got
400?
400.
Yeah.
All right.
So it was awesome.
So when Brian Lara's 220 not out and they chuck the ball to you, do you want it?
Not
by
really.
that time, I'm one of the best English cricketers there is. If as long as the other spinner's got a side strain, you are at the peak of your physical power as a sportsman. But it isn't like other sports. It's been going on for so long. You must be knackered.
Well, yeah, I suppose so. But I mean, you get chucked the ball, and it's your job, isn't it? So first and foremost, you want to do it well, and you don't want to look a plonker, which obviously didn't work for me that game. But he's one of the greatest in the game. So a player of that ilk, and a player of so little ilk in myself, it's kind of like, well, it's neither here nor there.
He's done himself a lot of disservice sitting here today, but to get picked at 38, 39 to go on an international tour in the last 12 months shows you what a fantastic player he was. But you talk about who we grew up with and mention Andrew Flintoff, one of our best mates, and I've roomed with him for nearly 15 years. He's forgiven me for literally everything I've done to him in the past, apart from one thing, and it was in that game. Because, as bowlers, you get, if you go for 100, it's a big thing. One of our best mates going for 100. And I didn't realise I'd been warned twice. I've roomed with him for nearly 15 years. He's forgiven me for literally everything I've done to him in the past, apart from one thing, and it was in that game. Because, as bowlers, you get, if you go for 100, it's a big thing. One of our best mates going for 100. And I didn't realise I'd been warned twice. I've roomed with him for nearly 15 years. He's forgiven me for literally everything I've done to him in the past, apart from one thing, and it was in that game. Because, as bowlers, for in my whole entire life, and I have done some horrendous things to him in practice, but when I got warmed off, you wouldn't.
Hang on a second, I'm not going to forgive you for this. You only bowled 38 overs. I think I were about 68 or something. I was the worst bowler on shore. I bowled 68 of the bleeders. I can't believe it.
It was only 40 degrees as well.
How was rimming with Freddie?
It was challenging.
It's interesting. We've talked a lot today about how 2020 has changed cricket and how they're just so sharp in the field, and everyone's fitter and stronger than they were 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Would you, having said that, the IPL, there's huge money in the game. Would you swap the era you had to be out there playing for England in this Champions Trophy?
I think the only thing that's different now is purely from a financial point of view. I think there was skill factor when we played. You talk about, I've walked along this corridor. You bump into somebody like Ravindra Sehwag. He's on the corridor.
It is ridiculous when you walk around.
Yeah, it is.
Ricky Ponton, and
I've got an autograph book full in my pocket. Don't worry about that.
And it's Bats' benefit. Yeah, he's looking for things.
No, Bats came in. He said, "Who was it?" He said, "I can't believe Sachin's here. Is Tendulkar here?" And he's like, "Why didn't I bring a load of shirts to get signed?"
And you do, and you just think Sachin. I've not seen Sachin. I've seen him from a distance, but I bumped into Sehwag. Ricky's here. Spoke to Ricky. Spoke to Shane Warne, and you look at it, and all these great characters and these great players. Players that I've played alongside as well. They were comfortable to play now. I still feel as though, we were able to, when we were playing and we were in our heyday, we'd be able to play now. I think, but the actual, the players have got more. Obviously, yes, they've got more physical, but I think the game in other countries, for me, the Big Bash, the IPL has lifted the. Change of focus in the way that other people, young kids and families watch it. 2020's been massive for all formats of the game of cricket, and all for the better. And would I swap? I don't think I would. I quite enjoyed my time playing. I'm not sure my lifestyle was suited for
social media.
To play now.
Do you think it?
No, I couldn't. I don't touch social media.
No, but as a player, have you been playing at the time? The fact that everything can be filmed and everything can be photographed, would that have changed your?
You see people now on social media, and it's like, I'm going to the toilet. I'm going for my dinner. I spent 20 years trying to hide where I was, and don't really want to tell the world that I'm going to the toilet.
Right, we're going to restart in 8 minutes' time. It's 13 minutes to 5, that's what it is, UK time, if you're listening on cricket radio around the world. We're going to be back on at 4:55. That's what the Pakistan need to do again. Start again, basically.
Yeah, they'll have to start again, but there'll obviously be different connotations with overs lost and what the target comes to.
We've been given the list of. I've never seen a.
That doesn't matter now. You'll get another one.
We'll get another duck.
Yeah, there'll be another one.
Will we?
Coming through. So it looks something like, I think we're getting this right, I think it's 267 now they require from 217 balls. So it will change the dynamic of how they go about trying to compile the 267 as opposed to the 324. It actually works better for them, I would suggest, in that if they keep building on this foundation, they've probably got still the 10 overs to build something, and then it's a bit of crash bang wallop for the remaining overs left in the game, which you almost sort of condense it. You try and get it to a 20-20 stage where you're saying, right, if we need 180 to 200 in 20 overs and we've got wickets in hand, you're a real chance of getting the runs.
But we still say India are favourites?
Yeah, I think India are favourites just at the moment. Another rain shower and no more wickets down. And I think it gets closer and closer towards being Pakistan being more, not so much favourites, but more in the game. I still believe India's bowlers are a lot more skillful than the Pakistani batters in these sort of conditions. As well as that, you've got Bumrah at the end, at the death, and I think as a team, if you've got somebody like that, if you've got a Lasif Malinga or a Bumrah that can bowl great Yorkers, you'll still win being maybe par score 10 runs short. But when you're maybe 20 runs, 30 runs over the top, you've really got to bowl poorly and field badly to give the game up.
Plus India are fresh out of IPL, aren't they?
Exactly.
So they won't be fearing the reduced game, as it were. But definitely I think Pakistan will see it as a positive. They have to, because they don't need the extended... Yeah, you don't need the extended period of classy batting. You could have a bit more of a crash bang wallop, 10-15 overs, and take a game away from somebody.
And how difficult is that death bowling? You mentioned Boomer or Malinga, something like that. How difficult is it to do that? Because
depends who's 22 yards away.
That's true. But
if me and him are batting there, it's not a problem.
Well, speak for yourself, I tell you.
But if you think about it, you know, people listening, a lot of TalkSport fans, TalkSport listeners, not necessarily huge cricket fans, say, well, you've just got to bowl it 4 yards further on.
Yeah, you did that outside off stump. Virat Kohli hit it. But Virat Kohli hit you 10 rows back on the offside. You bowled a little bit straighter toward leg stump, and he slog swept you for 6. So, you know, these skillful players, if you've got a skillful player who is in, that can change the game like that. That's what Yuvraj Singh did, change the dynamics and the pace of the game when he first came in. Yes, he was dropped, you know, he should have been caught. But once he got going, you know, it's very, very difficult as a bowler, doesn't matter whether you're a spinner or a seamer, when somebody's in like that, it's not so much to stop him from hitting 6s and 4s, it's stopping the sort of slowing the scoring rate down as a team, as a fielding side, to stop this person, because all you have to do then is try and get him at the other end, keep him off strike, starve him strike, put pressure on him. But when you've got somebody going, especially if you can get 2 people going, these grounds aren't big enough now.
Plus, you look at the fielding restrictions for vast majority of the game now. You're only allowed 4 players out as a max. That leaves a gap somewhere. You can't block off parts of the ground. You're exposed. Once you get into the real death overs, then you can have the 5 out and you can block off a little bit more. But in the lead up to that sort of death period, there's gaps, and there's no way of stopping it as a bowler. You're just trying to stop people hitting you in that piece of the field.
You are listening to Talk Sports, the world's biggest sports radio station around the UK. Listen to Cricket Radio around the world as well. We're players due to get underway in about 5 minutes' time. The sun's out. The Indian players are warming up again out there. Harmy, did you have 3 or 4 naan breads for lunch?
I had 3. I had 4 poppadoms and 3 naan breads. Yeah, they were nice.
So you're not carb free like Owe Shah.
No. His body doesn't look carb free. I'm about 4 stone heavier than I was when I played. People keep on saying to me, you miss playing. You look at you when you're on the telly a few years ago, you look a little bit lighter. And I think, I'm about 3 stone heavier than I was when I played. But I look at it, and me and Hoggy, we've been on the same diet. We're going well, to be fair. My opening bowling partner is living the dream since then, and so have I, to be fair. We've enjoyed ourselves.
I bet you're still playing in good nick. Is there part of you that thinks, do you know what, I want to keep playing for as long as I can, but I can't wait until that moment when I can eat like Steve Harvey?
I must admit, I was slightly jealous as I went up for a coffee, and a black coffee at that, trying to avoid the milk in it and all that sort of thing, and Harmy was ploughing into what looked like a beautiful curry with a big slab of meat next to it, and then a couple of little chocolate bits on the side just to wash it down with a Coke. So I was sort of watching a little bit.
You're recuperating from injury, but you've got stay in real shape. How tricky is it a day like here where you're out, you can't be at the gym, you can't. I was saying we could have, if we had those bikes that the rugby players have, on the touchline when you're commentating, you could actually keep in reasonable shape given the amount of biscuits and curry and food that goes around.
I'll dab his brow.
And because everyone in the box, most people haven't really met each other, so everyone's being really polite and getting teas and coffees. I'll get these ones. He's got Steve Harmison for me a biscuit. That's really nice. And you've got to stay away from all of it.
Well, not all of it. You've just got to be wary. Look, it's what you said. I'm a lifer. I'm a badger. I love the game. Whilst I can play, I will play. I know there's a P45 winging its way to me at some point. I'm not stupid, but if I can give myself an opportunity to play a bit longer by sewing my mouth up for the odd little bit of niceness, then I will do. You've got to have your vices, and I quite like a glass of red wine every now and again, so that's my vice. I try and stay away from the bad food.
All right, well, the players are back out on the pitch. The sun is out, which is glorious. Gareth, if you could just let us know exactly who you think Pakistan are going to rely on if they are going to win this, and I will hand over to Jim Proudfoot while you're prattling on.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at the weather now. It's absolutely beautiful out there. It's like we've just been transported into Ibiza for the next part of the game. It's beautiful. But I would suggest one of these two has to lay a good foundation for Pakistan, and then somebody in the middle, a very experienced player like a Shoaib Malik, you will be looking to sort of set up the game for them and hopefully be still in at those later periods in the game. But you're looking for anybody to be a hero, and it's the stage is set for any one of the Pakistani players. But Shoaib Malik's the standout man for me in their lineup from now on, just to give them real stability and that sort of calm head to shepherd them through to the total that they require.
Afternoon again, Bats. It's
Afternoon,
289 of 41 overs. That's right. the revised target. So they're 22 without loss, one ball left in the fifth. So 267 to win from here at a required rate of 7.38. Game on.
It is
going to be the biggest successful run chase in international at Edgbaston if they can pull it off, and we're back in action. With Azhar just poking the ball forward for a defensive shot, and there's no run, and the run rate will creep up. It's going to be 7.5, 8 before you know it. But as we saw from the back end of that India innings, where they hit 72 off the last 4 overs, if you've laid yourself a solid foundation and are in a position, then you just never know with a little bit of ammunition still in the hug.
And that's it, and it's shown that it's been a fantastic cricket pitch here at Edgbaston. It really has been good for the bowlers. Have had their periods where when they've bowled well, there's a little bit there for them, but certainly a great pitch for the batters to play the shots. It was an absolute delight to see Virat Kohli play as well as he did for that 90 earlier in the day, and the game is crying out for one of the Pakistani players to do the same. As I said, I think it would be Shoaib Malik that they need to shepherd them through to the total, but it can be any one of these young fellas to have a day out here.
Well, there's going to be a change of bowling from the pavilion end, and it's going to be Bumrah, who's an outstanding death bowler, as England fans will testify from a recent 2020 game in Nagpur. And he comes on with almost this hobbling run-up that he has, an erratic stride. And he bowls it short of a length, and it's just a tap back down the wicket by Shehzad. No run, 22 without loss. Just a reminder, the target 289 now. India 319 for 3 after 48 overs, but a further rain delay has curtailed the length of the game. 41 overs now for Pakistan to bat. And 289 is the target. They're 22 without loss in the early stages of the sixes. Bumrah comes in again, and that one is just eased back behind square on the offside, and they'll take a single. 23 without loss. As I say, the biggest ever successful run chase at Edgbaston, 280 Australia got to beat England back in 2003.
Wow.
So they're going to have to go some. They're going to have to make a little bit of history, but as we've been saying all week, 7 and over is the new 4.5 and over, isn't it, these days? So I think that these figures are going to go north steadily as the match and history progresses over the next few years. Bumrah again with this sort of galloping stride, and it's a textbook forward defensive shot that doesn't yield a run.
Yeah, I think you bang on there with the stats. They can be quite misleading. The game has evolved so quickly in the last sort of 2 or 3 years. Like you say, 7 and over is really not a worry for any of the batsmen. They don't worry, they don't fear that. They feel like they're a boundary and over, and they'll pick up the rest of the runs. So it's game on.
Bumrah with this lolloping strike comes in again and induces a A false shot there from Azhar, play and miss outside the off stump, goes through to the goal to the keeper, and there's no run. Lights still on here at Edgbaston, but looking away to the west, to the left-hand side as we look at it, it is predominantly blue sky now for the first time since about 8 or 9 o'clock this morning. There are some wispy clouds over there. I think we're okay weather-wise. We're set fair now for the rest of the day. Bumrah in again, that one on leg stump, it's a straight drive, but again there's no run. A sharp piece of fielding goes through to the keeper, so just a 1 run off the first 5 balls of this over from Bumrah.
That's the beauty of the modern grounds now. They've all got this ring drain system in there. So if we do get the bad weather, as soon as the boys get on, there's no moisture around. The ring drain takes away all the water from all rainfall, really. So it won't affect the guys out there. The situation hasn't really changed from a damp point of view.
Bumrah in again, and it's a flashing square drive. Wonderful shot for 4. Beautiful square cut, just behind square. And the boundary off the last ball of Bumrah's over takes Pakistan up to 27 without loss after 6.
Oh, that's a show of intent there. It's got the left leg out of the way, and the hand speed through the ball was quite magnificent. Flashed it through backward point. Did go through catchable height, but good luck catching that one. It went like a tracer bullet through backward point and rattled into the boundary boards. We're going to see more and more of that, and they're going to have to push the button, the Pakistani players. But what a great cricket shot that was. Hit it at the top of the bounce like an absolute bullet.
Frustration for Bumrah at the end of a good first over from a young player who's made a major impact in his short time as an international cricketer. He's taken 22 wickets, an average of 22 so far in ODIs, which is very tasty. Bhuvneshwar is going to continue from the Birmingham end, coming in the sunshine now, the shadows behind him, and it's a single off the first ball of the over, as it's just played down past short third man.
Yeah, Bumrah's a great story, isn't he? He sort of burst onto the scene in the IPL. He's got a very different action. Certainly doesn't look particularly coached. It's all very natural. And he's burst onto the scene and set the IPL last 2 or 3 seasons alight, and he's transformed that into an international fledgling career at the minute, but the future is certainly very bright for him.
It's an interesting action. It's just the way that he approaches the wicket, almost like a racehorse, just an erratic stride. One pace forward seems to be longer than the next. In comes Bhuvneshwar at the other end. There's another misfield.
বিশৃঙ্খল ক্যারিয়ার জীবনে আরও একটি ব্যর্থতা যোগ হয়। তারপর তিনি একটি ছোট্ট ক্যাফেতে বাবুর যে কাজ করবেন বলে সিদ্ধান্ত নিলেন। 65 বছর বয়সে তিনি সেখান থেকে অবসর গ্রহণ করলেন। অবসরের প্রথম দিন সরকারিভাবে $105 এই চেক এটি যেন বৃদ্ধ বয়সে গালে জল মারার মতো অবস্থা।
Coming in again to bowl the Shehzad. And that one just tucks him up a little bit. Once more in midfield will give Pakistan a cheap single. Eventually it is tied up by Jadhav. But it was Ravindra and Jadeja diving away to his left-hand side. Couldn't really get his hands to it. Did no more than take the pace out of it. And was furious himself, lay on the turf, beating his right hand into the ground in frustration. Another cheap single, 2 of them in this over so far, which is 3 off the first 3 balls. But Bhuvneshwar comes in again, and a little bit uppish, and it's
নিশ্চিত হলেন যে এমন কিছু তিনি করতে পারেন যেটা অন্য কেউ কখনো করতে পারবে না। বলতে গেলে তিনি সেই কাজটা অন্য সবার চেয়ে সবচেয়ে ভালো করে করতে পারতেন।
Gave us that fantastic late cameo in 20 off the 6 balls that he faced.
চিকেন রেসিপি তিনি জানেন, তার স্বাদ এখনো কেউ পায়নি। তিনি $87 ধার করে একটি কড়াই ও তার চিকেন রেসিপির উপকরণগুলো কেনেন। এক পর্যায়ে তিনি তার সেই অদ্বিতীয় চিকেন ফ্রাইড রেসিপিটি তৈরি করলেন। প্রতিবেশীদের দ্বারে দ্বারে গিয়ে তার তৈরি খাবারটি বিক্রি করার চেষ্টা করেন। একই সাথে রেসিপিটি বিভিন্ন রেস্টুরেন্টে চালানোর চেষ্টা করতে থাকেন।
Wasn't to beat. Just the 21 off the last over in the end.
ব্যর্থতার বৃত্তে ঘুরপাক খাচ্ছেন। 1009 বার তিনি বিভিন্ন রেস্টুরেন্টে তার রেসিপি চালানোর চেষ্টা করেছিলেন। অবশেষে 1010তম রেস্টুরেন্টটি তার সাড়া দেয়।
to the wicketkeeper, and there's no run.
88 বছর বয়সে কলোনিয়াল স্ট্যান্ডার্ড কয়েক বিলিয়ন ডলারের মালিক
there's been more intent, there's been more purpose about the batting. They've stolen a couple of singles, the two that he got it hit on the off, so that's taking the ball at the top of the bounce.
20,000-এর বেশি লোকেশনে
KFC to the ground again, and it's a 4 defensive shot of the last ball of an over, which is
সফল হওয়ার সব উপকরণই
32 without loss after 57 to win, 10 wickets
স্বপ্ন
left
দেখার
with
সময় ফুরিয়ে যায়নি এখনো। বুনোর স্বপ্নগুলোর পেছনে ছুটতে থাকুন এখনই, হ্যাঁ এখনই। সব সময় নিজের উপর বিশ্বাস রাখুন। আপনি নিজেকে বিশ্বাস না করলে কেউ আপনার উপরে বিশ্বাস রাখবে না। ব্যাপার না আপনি কতবার হেরে যাচ্ছেন, ভিন্ন কিছু করুন এবং অন্যদের দেখিয়ে দিন আপনি পারেন।
And they were saying 25 minutes, half an hour or so ago that Kidderminster was set fair, so it's going to be good for us, I think, for the rest of the evening. And if they can keep wickets in hand here, it's going to be an intriguing run chase. This is still in the balance. You favour India, but it's still in the balance as Bumrah comes in again for the start of his second over, and again it's just a little cut behind square from Shehzad, but there's no run. 32 without loss. Your money's on India. I would imagine you'd feel that they're still ahead of the curve at the moment.
Yeah, it is. They've got a very balanced bowling attack, haven't they? They've got options. They've got some pace in there. They've got the skilled white ball specialists, shall we say. They've got good spin options. But you know, the sun's out now. It's beautiful. We know it's a good batting pitch. If the Pakistanis can play well, they'll get somewhere near this. That is for sure.
Bumrah in again. And it's heaved away off the back foot, just cut square, and once more there is no run. Every match of the ICC Champions Trophy is here on TalkSport and TalkSport 2. Tomorrow the Oval is the venue. Harmony amongst you commentators for Australia against Bangladesh. A crucial game for Australia after the first one against New Zealand was washed out. They won't want to be coming into their final one here at Edgbaston against England, knowing that they need not just a win but a big win to go through on run rate. Here's Bumrah in again. It's a very solid forward defensive shot, just played down on the leg side and briskly fielded by Virat Kohli. Great innings from Kohli again today.
Oh wow, what a wonderful talent for such a small man. He's not, you know, he's not a big strong fella, shall we say. He's not one of the massive blokes that you see wandering around world cricket, but wow, does he strike a ball. Oh, some of the sixes he hit over cover. The skill and finesse involved in that is incredible.
81 not out for Kohli as Shehzad moves up to 11 with another ball that's just guided on the offside away behind square. It's been the favoured scoring area of these Pakistani batsmen at the moment. They've moved up to 33 without loss. Azhar 19 not out and Shehzad on 11. A couple of balls left in the 8th over. 289 off 41 is the target. But Azhar just having a look around to see who is where in the field. He's got a couple of fielders on the boundary behind square as Bumrah comes in, and he's gone for the straight drive. That's why he looked around, wanted to see what there was on the boundary. There was nothing straight, and he's given himself a little room, opened the shoulders and hit it over the inner circle, and a couple of bounces for 4. Wonderful straight drive.
Yeah, I mean it showed a bit of intent the previous over, but this is real intent. He's got the left leg out of the way, allowing him to get a full back path at the ball, and he's creamed it over wide long on. Real show of intent. Not a lot wrong with the ball from Bumrah, just sort of top of the stump's length, but Azhar right up to the challenge so far.
And the final ball of the over again, he's just taken a step forward and he's trying to steal a quick single. Now, he was nowhere near had there been a direct hit, and it would have been interesting to see what had happened, because as Azhar just knocked it down ahead of him, he ran into the ball and there was a collision between the two. That threw him off his stride. So if there'd been a direct hit, he would have been 5 yards out.
It would have been a real difficult one because it was certainly an accident from both sides, but we've seen it before. I think it was Paul Collingwood when there was a collision a few years ago, and he withheld the decision, he upheld the decision, it was out, and there was uproar in certain parts of the cricketing world. So whether that would have happened again, who knows?